shut up for a minute? We gotta get you the fuck out of Dodge, man. We're going to Vegas tonight.
What are you talking about, Vegas?
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
Hey, welcome back, craps enthusiasts. Happy to see you guys here. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's a little bit in the evening now, and as usual, I love the game of craps. I love the game of roulette. I like practicing it. I like trying to tweak things and thinking outside the box. I have a lot of new subscribers, and you guys, thanks. Really appreciate it. I hope you're finding this information well. If you're liking it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. You know, if you don't, and you give it a thumbs down, leave a comment below as to the reasons why. I don't mind, of course, that you're giving me a thumbs down of these craps videos. That's totally, completely cool. I have thick skin. It doesn't bother me, but at least go ahead and give a comment as to the reasons why. And that way we can clarify things and you guys can get it off your chest. Anyway, I think I'd go ahead and take a little bit of time and do a refresher to all of those new subscribers that kind of want to get an understanding of where I came from when I developed this very simple strategy. I know perhaps, I know perhaps going through all of the, God, I think it's 120 videos I have, I don't know. It can be hard trying to find that one video that explains my mental process behind coming up with this. It was about 5 years ago. I blew a lot of money on craps. I'm talking close to $5,000 in a weekend. And on top of that, I had a little bit of nose candy that cost a little bit more money. But let's just say when you're in the service and you get out, you just need an adrenaline rush. And if you guys are in the Marine Corps or were in the service and understand where I'm coming from, then yeah, give it a thumbs up, because we can all understand that adrenaline in itself is a great drug, and we do anything to try to find that heightened level that we were so used to for so long of time. Now, during that process, I had played a ton of different variations of craps. Now, I encourage everybody to play they want to play. With me, there's sometimes a difficulty of remembering certain things. I get caught up in it, and I end up thinking to myself, gosh, I coulda, shoulda done this, or I forgot that bet, or darn it, I forgot to hedge this. And you know what? That's kind of how my brain works sometimes. So I had to really simplify this. And I also wanted to come up with a strategy that had a continuous win process, kind of like a stock. On a good stock market, it gradually goes up. It's my belief that the turtle wins the race, all right? And before playing different ways, let it be the pass line, hedge betting, hops bet, I noticed my fluctuation in my bankroll was really extreme. And it was, again, like a stock that really doesn't perform, and you really have to hit it right in order to make the money. And that's something I wanted to alleviate, and I found those problems were occurring because of the many distraction bets that I personally think are within this board. Now let's think about this here. We have the hard ways bets. You got to be careful on that, because in my thought, this is what's going to slowly grind the money out of you instead of you grinding the money out of the game. The same thing can be said for the field bets. You have to pretty much count on these numbers to really hit. And if you have the 9 covered, great. You get paid twice, the same way with the 12. But in the end, I think it comes down to 16 wins out of 20. That could work out. I'm not quite sure the stats on that. But of all the testing, this is kind of the one that you really have to hope for a long string before you can find that success. And again, when you finally do find that long string, it's only going to be recovering from the losses you're going to get on the most predominant numbers that are going to come in based on the combinations of the dice, which is going to be the 6s and the 8s. So I don't play that. Now, let's also talk about the don't pass. Yes, it is the most combinations of dice that are out there. I agree with that. However, considering that, you have to ask yourself, how frequently do you see back-to-back 7s after a 7 out? Or how often, if the point is a 6, does that 6 come in it causes you to lose that don't pass bet quite frequently. Now, your only true benefit on that is going to be if the point is a 4 or a 10, in which situation in the past I would have just gone ahead at that point and taken odds on that. Okay, the other thing to think about is the don't come. All right? If that next line, after you put a bet there and the next roll happens to be a 6 or an 8, well, you're in pretty strong competition that 6 of the 8 could come in, and as a direct result, you've now lost out on that 7. So generally the concept behind this is utilizing the 4 numbers that have the most combinations aside from the 7 that are now the competing numbers against that 7. Therefore, creating a continuous, small, steady stream of bets. A lot of people like to press bets. Again, I want everybody to play they want to play, but for me, pressing bets has caused me to have some loss. When I think to myself after a while, oh my God, I just had $150 on the board after pressing this. That money was on the board. It could have been in my rack. All right? So that's the things that caused me to come up with this very basic strategy that everybody could play. I developed this predominantly for the bubble craps, for those individuals that don't have any experience playing craps, and for those individuals that quite honestly might have an intimidation in stepping up to a table because of the confusion of all the bets. The energy might be a little bit too much for them, and at times, I admit, sometimes the energy level is a little bit too high, and sometimes my anxiety kicks in, and I sometimes again get scattered and I have memory losses and things like that. So I developed this for those individuals, including those people that might have handicaps for whatever reason. And the bottom line is you only have 30 seconds on a bubble craps machine to go ahead and get those bets up on the board. And I want this to be fun for everybody. And for that reason, that's why you don't see me capping off the 6 of the 8. Or you don't see me playing it in accordance to the proper ways you're supposed to play it at a table. Because again, of the difficulties that might kick in as a direct result of not being able to get the board up or the bets up on the board in time. And it's happened to me in the past. And as a result, you lose money. So keep that in consideration. I hope this is a better explanation to all the newer players that didn't have a chance to really get back and to find those videos that have the better explanation. And again, this is just my thought and my belief behind the game because of my past experience of a fluctuating bankroll, of blowing money when I'm up thinking, gosh, you know what, I'm up, let's go ahead and do this and let's do that. And then all of a sudden, what happens? I'm sure you guys have all been there. So again, I wanted to create something that gave me a continuous string of bets along the way. Is it a grind? Sure, one can think of it as a grind. Absolutely, they could think of it as a grind. But as a direct result of playing this quote-unquote grind, you're going to achieve that goal of a small, continuous win across the time. You might be thinking this betting strategy is a little bit low, and I can agree with that. However, I also wanted to create something that could be put into a general bankroll of what the average person is going to bring up to the table, which is about $200. So my first goal is to, number one, secure my bankroll. Number two, secure the expense of my trip. And anything beyond that, hey, that's my house money. Because I know that should I have lost at that level, I can still come back. I have my original bankroll. My next trip is paid for. I'm ready to rock and roll. And as I am winning more money, I can then add it to my previous bankroll that I keep in a separate bank account that allows me to come back and to start betting at a higher tier. Gradually, it's going to expand. Gradually, you're going to be making more money. And when you're first starting off on this quest, I consider my first trip to be a business expense. That way, anything after that is going to be pure profit, and I can come back. So anyway, that's my thought behind how I came up with this. Again, this is for the new subscribers. I've had quite a few, and I appreciate that. And I hope you guys are learning something. And please like and subscribe. Not for my benefit. I really don't care about making money on YouTube. I'm at $1,000 or at 1,000 person level now. But more importantly for me is to share with individuals how to make money, how to not get too risky in their betting, how to keep that discipline and being happy with the money you have and being able to walk away after a long run. And that is so important because you know what? Oftentimes right after a long run, what happens? It's now shifted. The dice are in somebody else's hands that might be a novice or an average shooter, and therefore, bam, things could start shifting from there. So anyway, I'm going to bring this to a close. Generally, my upload time with this new computer and stuff, even though my internet is fine, it takes significantly longer. And again, I want to try to keep these videos at 10 minutes to share with everybody. I hope this finds you guys well. I hope it continue to have a great week. And with that, I say Chokti Kap, which means best of luck to you guys in Thai. Take it easy.